All right. First of all, credit to Utah. I thought number 4, the quarterback, was spectacular. We've seen him all year. He's done that versus everybody. We thought we did a good job for the first 3 quarters, really stopping the run. But unfortunately, a lot of the routes in the passing game, pass defense, they defended us pretty well. Phil Snow stepped in and tried to do a really great job for us. He could have stuck with some of the stuff we did all year long. Really got us a kind of a kickstart into being a 4-down quarters team for next year. And so we had some kind of miscommunications at times, or just not quite playing fast enough in the passing game. But I think that we thought that it was the best thing for us to do moving forward was to start really kind of on what Coach Orich wants to do for us as we move forward. Offensively, obviously, we came out, set the tone early. The backs, I thought, did a really nice job, and then just really quite couldn't sustain it. So special teams-wise, I thought they won there. So credit to them. They were 4-8 team last year that made the necessary changes to get to, a 11, 12-win team, whatever, 11-win team, I guess. And those are the same things, the changes that we've tried to make so we can get there next year. But they got the best of us today. So with that, I'll answer your questions.
Your offense had 5 straight 3-and-outs. Did they make an adjustment, and did you guys fail to adjust, or did you get away from what was working?
No, we didn't get away from it. They started zone pressuring us, and you have to just kind of win those plays, and we just didn't quite win enough. And we had some opportunities, but we had a screen that should be out for a touchdown. We just don't quite make a block. We have some plays that are just not quite there. We're just not quite there. We left the pocket sometimes a little too early. So I just think it was just, we kind of were in rhythm early. They made some adjustments, and we just, our guys just didn't quite make enough kind of plays. And then the second half, obviously, we moved the ball a couple times, brought it down the field, and just didn't get in the end zone, obviously.
How do you assess TJ's play? You touched on it there, but overall.
Yeah, I think in general, we ran the ball early and had good rhythm. I think there were a couple of times where the pocket, he maybe left the pocket just a little too early. Some other times where, you went for a 4th down and we're open and they, bat the ball down. So, I thought he protected the ball until that last pick. So I wouldn't say it was just either way from what I could tell. I'll have to go back and watch the tape to really have a good feel for where he was at and, see the reads. But, they were playing man coverage against us and, pressuring and we just didn't hurt them enough. And so whether that was the plays or the routes, I have to go back and see that.
You referred to the defense's lack. And you weren't happy with the effort of the last 2 regular season games and physicality. How was that today in your mind?
I thought we were really physical. I thought we stopped the run for the most part. Like in the first half, I think at one point they had like 60 yards and like 100 rushing, about 150 yards passing. Now they got out on one naked, and the quarterback just took off. But these guys are running for 3-4 yards a game against people, and I thought. We were holding up on the inside. Really, it was the passing game. They threw for 300 yards against us. And from the very first play, when it was cover 2, they get behind us in cover 2. That can never happen. It shouldn't happen. Third and 18, scrambling around, and he makes a play. So, but I didn't think it was. I never felt like it was a lack of physicality. I never felt like it was anything. In fact, coming into the game, we were really thinking a lot about the run game, obviously with the way we had played the run during the year, and we were spilling everything, and there wasn't a lot of big explosive runs. So I wasn't concerned with the effort. It was more just the execution. And some guys got banged up in the game. A lot of guys played in the game. And every dark time there's some silver linings. There's a lot of young players made some plays. Quinn Clark catches a fade down the left sideline. A bunch of young guys on defense played today. So it's because we're learning some lessons by fire. But I didn't question the effort at all.
Given the number of players you played today and the schematic changes you're sort of moving toward what Orich wants to do, did you kind of incur the risk that you knew that there might be some moments that were a little bit off, given that you were doing something new and you were doing it with young guys against a really good team?
Yeah, we came into the game knowing that Deshaun wasn't going to play and Isaiah wasn't going to play. We were down some guys, but that's the point of bowl games, right? Is it thrusts you into the next year. Let me just say this: we came to win the game. There's nothing that we didn't want to do to win the game. However, we just felt like the best chance we had was to kind of move into that 4 down and play quarters and play cover 3 and bring a couple pressures. And if anything, we were like, hey, we're going to have enough. We had to work hard and having enough hats for the run game. And it wasn't like it was play action, like we were sold out to the run. They just dropped back and threw it against us too much. But they had a dynamic quarterback, one of the best players we've seen all year, and he was able to run around and buy time. So. And then you get into the game, right? So we started Justin Rhett, we started Marquise. Justin goes down, so you got to see Jameer Khan in there, you got to see Caleb Benning in there. So, guys have to decide who's going to go in the portal, who's not. But for the most part, a lot of young players that should be back with us got to play a lot. So that is sort of the silver lining of kind of the way that we play. Even though the defensive ends I was working with, I have Cam, I have Will, I have Keona, and I have Cade. I mean, those are freshmen and sophomores. So, there was a lot of work done this week to try to take away the quarterback run. I thought they worked hard at it.
What do you make of Makai and Nelson's day, and how do you see that running back picture?
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and look at it, Makai had the explosive runs. Mosey continued to make plays. Quentin Eyes was the short yardage back and the third down blitz back. And, coming into this game, that was the least of my worries. I think those are three really good players. So we feel really good about them being the backs moving forward next year. And sort of today was a more traditional approach to the running back room as opposed to what happened this year where everyone kind of mixed in. So, like I said, there's we have the portal coming up. The portal giveth and the portal taketh away. We'll see kind of how it goes. But we do feel really good about the running back room as it is right now.
Matt, with the way these last 3 games ended on the season, how big is this offseason to get this roster right, get things corrected for 2026?
Yeah, there's a ton of work that has to be done. And I think that work for us is and we began it long ago, right? I mean, I think in terms of like looking at the off season, looking at the Big Ten schedule, looking at the travel, coming down the stretch of the year, we're pretty beat up. So how can we do things better? How can we do things differently? From sports science to medicine to strength training, we've been studying everything. And so, obviously the last 3 games make it hard to say a lot of things, but like, as I said to the guys, Henry Lutovsky said in the press conference yesterday, get to back-to-back bowl games. That is an accomplishment. I don't want to forget that for them. But to get over the hump, we have a lot to do. And so, we're going to attack it, and we're going to be unbelievably persistent at it. And like I said, they're a great model, right? They were 4-8 last year, and that quarterback was on another roster, and he came in, and he's been a lightning rod for them. And now they're going to have to deal with the portal now too, so all of us have to deal with all that. So, but Pat Stewart, Keith Williams, Logan Holgerson, those guys, I think we're in really good position in terms of what we'll do in terms of personnel.
Does that start then just right away on Friday, or I guess it?
Yeah, it's been they've been working on it for months. The portal opens up, and we'll see who's in it, and we'll go from there.
Do you have a sense of who you may lose? I'm not asking you to give names, but like,
No, I mean we've re-signed a lot of guys to contracts, and they anticipate being here. And there's some guys that they have to make decisions that's best for them. So we're not super worried about it. There's a lot of guys that would like to come to the University of Nebraska, and we're in a good position. So Pat and those guys are well positioned to do that.
I know Penn State got hot. Iowa beat Vanderbilt today. Utah's an 11-win team. The concern about the gap between where you guys are at and where those 3 teams were. Do you view this game as similar to the Penn State or Iowa?
Not well. I mean, I think at the end of the day, like we faced 3 top 15 probably teams, and we lost. So I mean, we're not a top 15 team. You know what I'm saying? It's like it doesn't mean we're a bottom 15 team. It just means we're not at the level of these guys right now, and so I have to take responsibility for that. We lost 6 games this year. 5 of them were to ranked team. Penn State was Penn State lost 30 guys for the bowl game, and they still beat Clemson. I mean, they were the preseason top 5 team. We're climbing, trying to get there, and like I said, so we'll look at everything. We'll attack everything in the portal. We'll attack everything with our roster. We'll try to find ways to improve. So that's. I mean, to me, it's really black and white, isn't it? Like, I mean, like hey, they're the 15 team in the country. They beat us. It was, we were able to hang with them early for a while. We're not able to do it the entire game yet, and that's where we have to improve.
We're talking about Rhule here today. Do you think he was able to get out of even these last couple of weeks, just being around the program, that can help him kind of pushing into 26?
Yeah, well, I think he's really been able to look at the roster and be able to give guys a vision for where they fit. The worst thing in the world would be to have a really good kid that's a really good player that's not going to fit the defense that we're in moving forward, right? And at the same time, there might be some guys, like Jameer Khan out there, he's a great fit for what we want to do in terms of playing this position. So he's been able to meet with the guys one-on-one. He's been able to be at practice. He was able to be at the practice flow today. I would just say, we've been here for 3 years. For 2 years, we were really good on defense. We struggled this year. I take full responsibility for that, okay? I hired John, who's a great coach, and just kind of forced him into something like, hey, stick with the 3-3-5 because we've been good at it. Really wasn't right his fit. We just said, that's not right. We parted ways. I feel bad for him. He's a great person. I wish him the absolute best. We brought in Rob. He's got a system. Say, Rob, put your system in. He knows the guys that he wants to go get for the system. He knows the guys that fit here for the system. We started it. and we didn't put in his system. We just did the kind of quarters the way we had done it early in the year. After Michigan, we didn't play quarters ever again. So it was a tough transition this last month, but at least gave us a head start. So I have no doubt that Rob is going to have us playing great defense. He knows what he wants. I have no doubt that in year 2 with Coach Eckler, that he's going to have us going where we want to go. I have no doubt that Jeep is going to have our offensive line being, a dominant group, and I have no doubt that Dana will get the thing where he wants it to be. So, but we have to get that work done.
Is there,
I'm going to answer your question. I'm not going to rush off. So,
After today, what do you think the identity of your team is and what you want it to be?
I think that's a great question. I think it's kind of for next year. I think we want to play great defense and play great special teams, and we want to control the line of scrimmage on offense and be explosive in the passing game. And we ran the ball really well early today, but we were never quite able to hit some of those plays. Like we ran a wheel route to Ja'Cory and we just weren't able to quite hit it, or we got pressure at times. I'll say this, guys like Turner Corcoran, man, that kid, he can barely walk. He just cares so much about being a Husker. I'm sure people are going to beat him up a little bit for a sack at the end or whatever. But, man, guys, I'm just telling you, he's out there on a leg that most guys wouldn't play on, So, I love that group. And but, we'll have a chance now to go back with Jeep, to go back with Dana, and really kind of work through kind of where we want to get to. And, but, yeah, we have a lot of work to do. So, Sam?
there a point where you take away the green light on the kickoff returns and you just say, let's do the 25 instead of trying to keep
Yeah, we did that in that game. We went, he kicked it through the end zone, but we finally said, enough's enough, right? So, credit to them. I mean, Corey's too good of a player. We're trying to get the ball in his hands more often. I give Coach Eckler a lot of freedom on that, but he felt like after the second one, he said, hey, the next one's going to be a touchdown. So we did it again. We got tackled at the 14. They were winning and we weren't, and so we would have fair caught the last one, but it went through the end zone. So, anybody else? All right, thank you guys. Happy New Year.